That we welcome you courtside alongside Ryan Klimcak. I'm Alex Thomas. Every game is more important than the last as we head towards the end of the season. Ball State honoring 4 seniors tonight, and they got the weekend started off right last night with a dominating 3-0 victory against St. Francis.
Yeah, and there were times last night Ball State's offense just didn't have to do a lot with St. Francis, sometimes committing some unforced errors on their own part. But when Ball State's offense had to get involved last night, boy, it didn't disappoint with Chevs, the usual suspect, doing a very good job for Ball State last night. Other guys like Sebum. And how about the job Ben Chinisi did, sort of filling in and becoming that second piece of offense for Ball State, something they've been looking for. We'll see if he can continue that here tonight.
Chinisi finished with 8 kills last night, and setter Quinn Isaacson really spread around the attack, 39 assists against St. Francis. Penn State, however, last night took a little bit of a tumble against Purdue-Fort Wayne, falling to the Mastodons 3-1. How do they fix some of their errors a night ago for tonight?
Well, I think they need to have a little bit better communication tonight. I noticed communication in the back row against Purdue-Fort Wayne last night in that match. It wasn't necessarily the best, and if Ball State can get it over that front row for Penn State, then Penn State's going to have issues unless they can correct that communication.
The Nittany Lions are going to need some help from Henrique Falk-Loughton on the outside. Double-figure kills in 4 of his last 5.
Yeah, 154 kills, leads his team, 33 blocks on the season, and last night versus Purdue-Fort Wayne, 13 kills on 29 total attacks. That's a .310 hit percentage. Doesn't matter where he's attacking from, he's going to do a very good job tonight.
And for Ball State, they'll need some help from the powerful lefty carrying the load, Matt Chevs.
How many good things could you say about Matt Chevs? The southpaw led the team in kills last season, leads the team again in kills up to this point this season. Had a good match last night with 9 kills against St. Francis. He has incredible vision, knows exactly where to place the ball on his attacks, and he's another guy on offense tonight we're going to see a lot of.
14 matches with double-figure kills this year for Matt Chevs. They're going to need both these guys to step up for each team. A match-high 13 kills for Henrique Falk-Loughton a night ago. 2 of the hottest hands in all the country right now. To kick things off will be Brett Wildman for Penn State, the freshman from Virginia Beach, Virginia. We're underway. Cardinals really spread out the attack a night ago against St. Francis. Penn State had a lot of errors on the back line that led to a tough going against Purdue-Fort Wayne just north of here.
And that battle up front, Alex, we talked about it in the open, and there it is right there, Lem Turner. You're going to hear his name a lot tonight, I have a feeling. And Coach Walton likes to play those matchups, and he sort of has a lot of depth on his team with a lot of guys coming off the bench. And you can tell when a guy like Lem Turner is out there how Ball State wants to get their points. And they want to do it by the way of some of those ugly points up front by the big men.
Lem Turner, the senior, getting it started on senior night for Ball State. Penn State responding quickly. Henrique Falk-Loughton able to get his hand on it, our impact player tonight. He really will be leading the way for this Penn State team this evening. 167 kills, sits 6th in the EIVA.
And the thing that makes him so good is just his instincts. He's just really smart out there and knows exactly what type of kill to go for. If he needs to take a little bit off of it to get sort of a lesser kill and put a little less on it, he will do that, but he also knows when to go full power and attack.
Chevs can't get the angle. Back to serve now for Penn State, Matthew McLaren, a redshirt senior, one of just 6 upperclassmen that is on this roster for Penn State. And he skies that one.
And that's the one thing you don't want to do tonight is just errors of any kind, whether it be attack error. We saw how that benefited Ball State last night. Penn State sort of had trouble last night with that, committing 19 service errors against Purdue-Fort Wayne. And Purdue-Fort Wayne actually had 20 in that matchup last night, but I don't care how many you have, that's just an automatic point for the other team, and you want to give yourself a chance.
Ball State was the beneficiary of a handful of those errors last night against St. Francis. The Red Flash had 24 attack errors and 16 service errors. An entire set made up of errors pretty much just handed over to Ball State. But the Cardinals really did spread out the attack. Chinisi with 8 kills, Chevs with 9. Jason Denorovich back for Penn State. Turner again. Lem Turner feeling it here early on senior night.
And the key, Alex, is going to be how it gets to Isaacson. We know Isaacson, whenever he has an opportunity for a clean set, we know he can set it up nicely.
And in his 25th season for Penn State, Mark Pavlik looking on. Won the 2008 AVCA Coach of the Year. And Penn State's really run through the EIVA over the last 25 years. They've had 14 undefeated conference seasons. Siebem keeps it alive. And Shavs finishes.
It's only a matter of time before he gets involved. And from that right side, we saw it last night. Penn State's got to keep an eye out for that tonight.
An unconventional assist from David Siebem, but I think Shavs will be happy with it.
Shavs didn't even get the chance to put a whole lot on that one. Kind of had to readjust in the air.
Falk-Lauten answers. Henrik Falk-Lauten comes from Drammen, Norway. He was actually a transfer in from Warner University, an NIA school in Florida, just getting his start. But for Ball State, a pair of really distinguished coaches in the volleyball community tonight. Joel Walton in his 20th season. He actually played here at Ball State, was a fantastic defensive player, and you see that reflected in some of the teams he's coached over the last 2+ decades.
Yeah, and Walton does a very good job of playing matchups. I know they're only 11-10 so far to this point, but he does a good job of deciding who's going to play and sort of rotates the bench, as Isaacson tried to slip that one over the net but couldn't do so.
And again, the Cardinals continue to work the middle. Lem Turner, Parker Schwartz, they found success there last night. The two combined for 6 kills against St. Francis.
Yeah, and when Isaacson, like I mentioned, gets a clean opportunity to set the ball, he's going to put it perfectly for Schwartz, and Schwartz a lot of room in the back row for Penn State. We talked about it in the open, Alex. That's going to be the key for Ball State. Attack that back row of Penn State.
Too much heat from Shavs. Keeps Penn State with the lead. Falk-Lauten back now to serve. 13 service aces on the season. Really an all-around player. When he was at Warner, the NAIA school down in Florida, he was an All-American honorable mention, 2-time All-Conference, and then took the opportunity to come up here to Penn State and really join one of the most established programs on the East Coast in terms of men's volleyball. And it's paid off swimmingly. Top 10 EIVA in kills. He's really been the driving force for the Nittany Lion offense this year.
He really has, and the thing about him is just that speed and rotation he puts on the ball for his attacks and has that quick release. Everything needed to be a very good attacker.
Canyon Tuman puts too much on it. Wessel cannot corral.
So far, if you're Penn State, you really have to like this start. They got down early 8-3 in that game last night against Purdue Fort Wayne. But hanging with Ball State on the road, the first set's always, I believe, the most crucial.
Tuman sends it right into the net. A freshman from Sewickley, Pennsylvania, not too far from Penn State's campus. 5 kills last night, hit it really well, above 400, and had 7 blocks to go with it. He was a big presence for Penn State when a lot of the other players didn't quite show up as much as they would have liked. And Schwartz says, I can answer right back with an error of my own.
Yeah, and so far that battle's 3 service errors Penn State, 2 for Ball State. That's not the type of thing you want to do if you're either team.
Siebem tries to change the pace. Free ball over for the Cardinals. Isaacson takes it himself. We've seen him go in transition. Saw it happen twice last night, but not quite with that much power do we see very often.
Yeah, and when he does decide to attack, he's got a very good, move to go for that kill, and that's something Penn State struggled with last night too. Michael Keegan on Purdue Fort Wayne, the setter for them, actually had a good night, deciding to take some himself and picked up 5 kills. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see Isaacson decide to go for the kill for himself.
The third challenge for Joel Walton, so he'll be without another challenge as we come to this towards the end of set 4. His team on top, 2-1. See, it goes off the hands of Schwartz.
And it looks like
Real close again. One more spin of the ball.
Ooh.
Does it come in contact with the line? That's the question. That is maybe closer than any call we've seen. I think you could make the case either way. It's also worth mentioning that the call was made in favor of Penn State. So unless it's clear that it touched the line, the point should remain with the Nittany Lions. The referee continues to take another look over it.
I don't know.
Three challenges now, all in critical times, with the game tied or within 1 or 2 points.
And actually the crowd here at Worthen wanted him to challenge, and it pays off.
And the point goes to Ball State. Walton's third challenge really pays off. That's the thing. Walton gives a nice point to a fan sitting behind the Penn State bench. The crowd really was pushing Joel Walton to make the challenge, and it pays off.
The couple rows sitting behind Joel Walton were egging him on, saying, challenge it, challenge it. Joel Walton doesn't just listen to his own players when he wants to challenge it, but the fans too. How about that? A good challenge by Ball State. Puts them up by 2.
A close call here inside Worthen Arena. The fans egged Joel Walton on to challenge it, and he has to give credit where credit is due. A good call from the Ball State head coach results in the point for Ball State. 2-point lead for the Cardinals and a 2-1 set lead. They can close out here, can secure the win on senior night, win their third straight, and their 4th straight at home against Penn State.
You know, it's funny, he pointed at the fan, but actually making sense of it all now. The fan is actually sitting right on the end line for Penn State, so he did actually have a pretty good view of it. That's the right fan if you're going to ask a fan for a challenge.
Penn State comes out of the timeout with a quick attack to Henrique Falk-Lawton.